again, that's a mixture of two different scenes. So all the stuff in her in the purple dress and Tracy in the red blazer is all happening, we know, in week 3 based on the week 3 promo. And then that comment that she makes about the Cougars where she's in the yellow top with the white jacket, that's a totally separate event.
The guy that I'm falling in love with developed relationships with other women, and they don't give a about him. You only see this much of him. There's a difference between being bold and being a child. The Cougar.
Okay, so people think Demi's a child. Courtney seems to have a lot of issues with her. This is happening on multiple occasions.
Attacks do not get to me at all, honestly. Tracy could be 400 years old and she still wouldn't be ready for me.
Okay. Notice this strap of a purple dress. This is from that same episode in week 3.
I'm absolutely terrified.
I am here for engagement.
Okay, there we had Colton and Kaylin saying, I'm absolutely terrified and I'm here for an engagement. We know from the Snow Hats this is definitely happening in Denver. Again, this makes me feel like Kaylin's making it pretty far. We don't really know the depth of what this conversation's about, though.
I'm absolutely terrified.
I am here for engagement. I mean, she's lying.
Okay, this is Tayshia saying he's lying. She's lying to him. They're trying to make us believe that this is happening about, she's saying this about Kaylin in Denver, but they have a habit of putting these random interviews out of context anywhere that they want in the promo, so I wouldn't put too much stake in that.
Colton's heart is on the line. So why are you bringing up things that aren't true?
Okay, there we saw Kirpa and Cassie having some type of fight. It's not clear if they're talking to each other or to a third person that's not shown on camera, but what we do know is that they both seem to be in warm outfits in some type of like woodsy environment. This doesn't really seem like it's any of the places that I thought they were going, except maybe Denver, but it doesn't really look cold enough to be Denver, but unclear.
Heart is on the line. So why are you bringing up things that aren't true?
I would never in a million years tell Colton anything.
You are a liar, Nicole.
Okay, this is more controversy in the house. They're trying to make it seem like that's happening at the same time as Kirpa and Cassie's fight, but this is clearly happening at the mansion, so pretty early on.
You're a liar.
I have no...
Okay, note this flower in Demi's hair makes me feel like she makes it to whatever that tropical locale is.
Down in my mind that you talked mad about me.
And we also see Tayshia and Hannah G, who we both know are already in the tropical locale because we saw both of them there. And here we got Courtney in a red dress.
It's the wrong button.
He is not happy.
Okay, this looks like somewhere in Asia, don't know where.
There are people still here that aren't ready, and that's terrifying.
Okay.
Greatest.
Colton walking, looking very pensive. They love showing this type of thing as he contemplates his insecurities. The only thing I can say about this is usually they put these kind of things towards the end of the season when he's walking pensively and the stakes are really high. Also, this woodsy environment looks like it's the same place as wherever Kirpa and Cassie were having their fight. Still don't know where it is, but it looks like the same place.
So I'm going to end up with somebody who's not here to be engaged at the end of this.
Him on a cliff, kissing someone. Noticeably, this is not the same outfit that him and Cassie were wearing on their beach date, so there must be multiple one-on-one beach dates. I can't really say who this is, except that she's blonde.
I'm here to fall in love.
This paper lantern thing is very, like, Thailand, so, I mean, I'm sure it happens in Vietnam also, but it's, like, a pretty famous, like, Thai activity, so they probably did that in Thailand. This girl, I don't know who it is, other than she is a dark-haired brunette. My guess is Tayshia, but I really couldn't tell you. But we know that whoever this is makes it far enough to be in Thailand or Vietnam or wherever this is happening.
We're married.
Okay, this is the famous shot that they love. They do it of every Bachelor. It's a really wide-angled zoom shot of them walking, contemplating things as they walk over some type of mountainous landscape. This is clearly in Denver of all the places that they mentioned that they're going. Usually this shot happens from wherever the final rose is given out, or at least the top 3. So my takeaway from this is that Denver is towards the end of the season. Either the final rose is being given out in Denver or the fantasy suites possibly.
Here to get to the end and be blindsided.
We got Tayshia crying.
You scared him so bad, and you're gonna ruin potential relationships.
Same woodsy scene of Cassie. Here, we see someone packing up a bag. This to me looks like Cassie. Also, Cassie seems to wear a lot of red. But
I'm just like, I'm so over this. This is why this is.
this scene is, they're clearly trying to make us think that Hannah B is leaving, but I really think it's Cassie packing up. I don't know if she actually leaves, but there's definitely some threat of her leaving. And this is, just from this, I can tell you that this happens in the mansion. I recognize this background. So this is Hannah B. It's somewhere towards the beginning of the season.
Hard for me. I just feel like I should just go.
This also, I know, is somewhere towards the beginning of the season because we've seen this in the weeks 2 and 3 promos.
This information changes everything.
I can't accept the proposal.
Okay, that was a lot. We got some information that changes everything. We know that they find out about that information while they're in that tropical location. And then we see Elise saying, I can't accept a proposal. My guess is that Elise's sentence, because they cut it off so abruptly, was not the end of her sentence, but was probably the beginning of a sentence that was something like, I can't accept a proposal without him introducing himself to my child, or something like that. And it's probably not as big of a deal as it seems, but they're trying to make it all dramatic with Elise. And now we see him hugging some brunette girl. It looks like she's leaving and he's saying goodbye.
I'm scared.
Okay, they're showing a lot of this. Courtney and Nicole crying. Cassie crying.
Every time I put myself out there, I get rejected.
Okay, now we got some
I have sacrificed and given up everything to my
generic babble
heartbroken.
about the lead being insecure.
I don't know what the future holds for me. It's just nothing. I'm done.
Okay, so there's a lot of hoopla around this whole Colton leaving. So the big question is, when is this happening? Also, why does he leave? But I can't even begin to extrapolate why he leaves. But what I can tell you about when this happens is this car right here is a Fiat, as is this one. And they actually don't really make Fiats in America. It's a really popular car in Europe and in some parts of Asia. So this tells me that this happens later in the season when they're on location.
Holy.
Okay, here we see Colton jumping over a fence. Keep your eyes over here. Woo. Okay. Look at the sign. I'm not sure if you guys can see it from your definition, but this writing looks very Asian-y to me. Not that I can read any Asian languages, but this looks definitely not English, and Portuguese letters are the same, so it's probably somewhere in Asia.
What just happened?
Okay, she says, what just happened? That could be a clip from something totally irrelevant from episode 1. I'm not going to pay attention to that.
Colton!
Alright, we know that he's running away somewhere with cactuses, so probably a desert climate. Some dogs barking. Okay, this is another plant from wherever he runs away. I don't know what it is, but if someone is more familiar with the flora and fauna of various regions of Asia and Portugal, please weigh in. Let me know what you think this is and where you think it is.
Middle of nowhere.
More of that close up of that tree.
He is gone.
Okay, he's running away. Suddenly, this doesn't look so deserty. This looks very forest. Could be that same forest from where Kirpa and Cassie's fight is and where he's walking pensively. Could just be a coincidence and this is still in the desert. I don't know. All I can say is this gutter over here looks very much not like something that they would have in America.
He is nowhere to be found.
Okay, and that is all we got. That's the whole preview. What I will say is that there's a lot of weight placed on who gets the most screen time in the preview. So far from this, if you're just taking it at face value, it seems like Demi's getting a ton of screen time. Hannah G, Cassie, Hannah B, and Tasha, I think, are probably the ones getting the most screen time. Courtney and Nicole seem to be getting a lot of screen time, but not really related to Colton so much as just them crying about different things. It's clear from this information that Cassie and Hannah G are making it pretty far because you see him making out with them in a lot of different locations. Seems like they make it to a lot of trips. Demi also, I think they're trying to at least make us believe that she's making it pretty far. But honestly, she's really annoying, so I really can't see her making it that far. Usually there is a wild card that does really well that they try to not let people predict by not putting her in the trailer so much or not giving her enough screen time in the first 2 episodes. My guess for who that is Tasha, because she's in that tropical place, which I think probably happens later on in the show, and that person with the paper lantern in Thailand kind of looks like Tasha. Also, they just seem like they have a strong connection. Elise is kind of a wild card that I don't really know what to do with. Hannah B, I think, is kind of like a red herring for this season, that they're trying to give her a lot of screen time as sort of a dramatic character, but she's never really seen with Colton that much, which kind of makes me feel like she's not making it that far, but does cause a lot of drama while she is there. Noticeably absent from this is Catherine, who they made a big stink about in episode 1 as painting her as the villain. She really doesn't seem to be doing anything villainous later on. Kaylin also is the last person that I would say from this information seems like she is making it really far. Again, that pensive shot of him walking in the snow really makes me feel like Denver is probably where they're doing the final rose. Also, I'm pretty sure Colton lives in Denver. And yeah, we see her in the snow cap. She's the only one that we see in Denver or in some type of snowy environment. So she definitely makes it there, and it seems like Denver at least isn't their first stop, because otherwise they'd show a nice group shot of everyone in a snowy environment like they did with some of the other places. And that's about it. If anyone has any comments, thoughts, anything that I missed, any questions, feel free to comment. Let me know. I'd love to hear what you guys think.